Impact Hall of Famer Gail Kim, and you are watching the Countdown City WrestleCast.
What is up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC. Joining me this week is Tommy.
Hello.
And we got Mike.
What's up, guys? Big Mike here as we are barreling down the tracks here in 2023. And fun fact, Roman Reigns' title reign has lasted longer than CM Punk's AEW career. So there you go.
Maybe we should make a list of all the things that did last longer this career.
Damn. Damn.
Yes.
I can't even do the full damn. Damn.
Yeah. I need a sound bar on here just to hit Ron Simmons. Damn. You know?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. Among other things we're going to talk about today, we'll discuss wrestling news. That will probably be a big topic of discussion. We'll discuss WWE Payback and AEW All Out, two big events that happened this past weekend. And then get into Impact's Victory Road show, which is actually taking place tomorrow night on Impact Plus.
Whoa.
So, yeah. Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. Impact's got Fridays, WWE's got Saturdays, AEW's got Sundays, and NXT has Sundays when AEW's not running, right? So
Something like that, yes.
something like that.
I think you said it right.
On a Saturday, something like that. Yeah. So. Yeah. So right off the jump, let's just get into the wrestling news of the week, and nothing obviously was bigger than the announcement that CM Punk was in essence being fired from AEW Wrestling, stemming from the incident that he had at the All In show with Jack Perry.
Fired with cause was the
Fired with
word I kept
cause, yeah. So now there's
What's
a
that,
lot
John?
to this. There's a
Hey,
lot
John.
to this timeline. I feel like you could. What's that, Charlie, with the board on the wall? With the,
always sunny.
trying to connect
Yeah.
the dots on how the hell this happened from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But this was a lot to it. Obviously, we know by now there was a backstage confrontation with Jack Perry and CM Punk between 0 Hour and the start of the show, stemming from Jack Perry's thinking of the real glass thing that he said. So apparently that's got a history of Punk not wanting to use real glass, but there's a confrontation. Witnesses were saying that Punk was choking Jack Perry. Some monitors got knocked over. And yeah, Tony Khan made the call to fire him. I thought it was a work, honestly.
Yeah.
It would have been epic, but
It would have been epic. I was kind of hoping that would, because look, up to this point, Tony Khan, we've seen him at shows. He's had the fanboy look of him, which is great. I love the enthusiasm. One of these news announcements is going to be a total work. It's going to be crazy, and it's going to throw everyone for a loop.
Yeah.
So, but
I thought it was gonna be this time too. I was curious, but
yeah. Now there's some news reports coming out there that there was supposed to be a meeting with talent before All In. That somehow got canceled. Somehow the Young Bucks were in charge of making sure everyone had travel from the airport to their hotel when they got into London, and apparently CM Punk's got canceled. I don't
wait,
know.
is that what you heard?
That's what I'm seeing.
Okay, because what I had seen at first was simply that they were informed that there was a bus at a certain time, and if you came in or waited after, then you would have to get your own like Uber cab, and then they would reimburse you, but that he wasn't aware of that or something. So I know
I'm
there's a
hearing
lot of
multiple
conspiracy theories, right?
Yeah.
And that's the funniest part is people have basically been like, the Bucks set this up, and they made him look crazy and all
that's
that.
what I've heard the most is the
which-
Bucks set them up.
There's a
Set them
smidge of possibility I can't deny. I don't think it's as true as people, but you can't there's a smidge.
There's a smidge, but I don't look. I know the Bucks and them supposedly have heat, whatever. They're in executive positions, right? They still have
Yeah.
that EVP title.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do this to somebody that you have heat with, you're not gonna have a lot of people that want to come work for you. You know, it's
I know what you're saying, but at the same time, I think because of who Punk it is, it's literally like split.
yeah,
Either you're a friend of Punk and you wouldn't want to go work there, or you're not a big fan of Punk and
And
you
you
wouldn't
would.
mind.
Or
Even like not connected to this in a way, but I just saw this today. Freddie Pinch Jr.
Mhm.
came out and shared some stuff about his time working as a writer in WWE, and basically said he never worked with Punk because he felt like Punk didn't need him, but that Punk was never nice to him backstage. Like he would blow him off and ignore him, and Prince was like, why? Like I didn't do anything. Like I don't understand why you always came across as rude and mean.
Well,
So
Punk said as much in his WWE documentary, right? The Best in the World. I don't know if you guys remember this. Whenever the writers would bring him something, he would just rip it up. Like
I think I remember that.
if
Yeah.
they gave
yeah,
him a promo to say word for word, he would just rip it up. You know, he would just tell me bullet points and he'll go with it. You know, and obviously they were doing their job, so it seemed like Punk hated, I guess, how the writers had to micromanage so much of it. Like the only time he was nice to the writers was when they told him they're just going to give you a live mic and air your grievances. That was the only time
Yeah.
with the whole little pipe bomb
well,
promo, you know. So, um, but yeah, obviously after what happened last time with this conversation with Hangman Page, I believe it was, he had to be brought back under the impression that this is a zero tolerance thing. Like you can't slip up at all. And you know, you're getting ready to open a show. Sure, what Jack Perry may have been disrespectful, but you're about to go open the biggest show in AEW's history, and they were potentially scrambling to having to change the opening because had it
yeah.
not been for Samoa Joe, like you're a veteran, you got to have a cooler head about this stuff. Like I mean that's a rookie thing. That's like a big rookie ego thing. Like seriously, maybe go have your match, and then when you calm down a bit, go talk to Jack Perry about like what is going on. You know, let cooler
Mm.
heads prevail at that point. But he's coming in high off of his match. Punk's getting ready to go out to open the show, and then they caught like Punk should have never gotten in his face. So I see the point of that. You know, um,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
Yeah, good.
well, no, you like, but I also just you like when there's so much to look at when you think about. You said, he should have known it's zero tolerance, but at the same time, Tony basically begged him back and said, "Here's your own show," and that's kind of part of this because he kind of had a run of Collision. He brought over a bunch of guys that seemed to not have a lot or weren't getting a lot of time on Dynamite, and that whole Jack Perry, from what I've read, stems from he got approved to do a car spot because he was supposed to take some time off. They told
Yeah,
him, book the car, go to Collision and tape it there. Our guys will tape it for you or whatever. Then he gets to Collision and Punk's like, oh, we don't do real glass. He's like, and Jack Perry's like, it's been approved by the office. I just need to get it filmed here. And he was like,
yeah,
no, you can't do it. So again, I know you say that like he should know after the initial incident, but at the same time, it kind of seemed like Tony catered to him and like let him do what he wanted to placate him. So, it's
But
there
to
had to be
me,
a balance. Like, sure, you get this, but you can't do this
yeah,
again.
but
You know?
that's my thing. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, he probably did the placate, but he also told him was like, but like, I'll placate you with this, but zero tolerance, dude. You gotta calm down.
okay. I got to be honest. I don't see that from Tony in anything I've seen in him publicly. Like, I feel if there's one criticism that you can not specifically see, but seems pretty apparent, is he is not like laying down the law kind of guy with a lot of the time because he was a fan. He didn't
Yeah.
grow up in the wrestling world. He's kind of a fan of a lot of these guys, and I'm sure he's friends with them. I could be wrong. That's just what I feel like I see
And
from what is going on there.
and see, and I agree, and this might have been the turning point for that. It's like
Well,
maybe
it seems
Punk,
like it is finally.
it seems like maybe Punk thought it wasn't gonna happen no matter what, and Tony was like,
Now that might be
"You know what?"
true.
Yeah.
It's like it could have got to the point where like, you know what, I tried. I was trying to, because I mean, look at everybody else who, I mean, because I feel like the whole argument of like people who do like Punk, so they probably won't go to AEW, is only kind of true. Because ain't Samoa Joe one of his best friends, and ain't he still there right now involved in high profile
Okay,
feud?
can we also mention? Can you imagine if it wasn't Joe as his opponent and it was someone else? He might not have gone out. They
He
might
Yeah.
have had a different because Joe ain't taking shit.
Yeah.
And if anybody's gonna get Punk on the right path, it's him. But can you
Yeah.
imagine if his match was against like not Joe, like literally anybody else.
Like Ricky Starks or something. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Someone that he doesn't have that rapport with, right? You know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And like I said, it's polarizing. Not gonna lie, it took some balls to do it right before you're doing a whole weekend in Chicago.
And
They're
surprisingly, there wasn't the backlash I thought there'd be.
Except
The
against the
Chicago-
Bucks, apparently.
But even
Yeah.
that was nowhere near as
Right.
bad.
No, you're right.
As I legit. So that tells me one of two things: either people are just like really trying to see what happens next, or even Chicago was kind of like, yeah, Punk, you kind of screwed yourself on this.
A
yeah.
little bit.
I mean, yeah. I don't think anyone's that are friends of Punk are gonna leave AEW over what happened. Punk did it to himself, and any good friend would tell you is, no, bro, you screwed up big time. This is on you. You know.
I gotta be honest. I don't see Samoa Joe going anywhere. Like,
No,
he's
not
one.
at all.
You know, we all know him, his history with Punk. That's probably one of his best friends. I don't see Joe going anywhere because Joe has no incentive to.
Yeah.
Joe has all the incentive in the world to stay where he's at because,
especially with what he started.
I know, but
Yeah.
even take that away. Look at his title reign with the TV championship. He's about to do what he did with the ROH World title. He's about to blow right past Jay Lethal's title reign, and that was like 500 something days. So, there's. And Joe doesn't, and I think Joe's just fine where he's at. And like even people who are friends of Punk, and unfortunately that number seems to be getting smaller and smaller. It's like, dude, they practically gave you a show. All you had to do was keep your cool. You know. Yeah. So I just reading Jason's comment. Yeah, the moment.
Yeah. But you know, if you're Punk,
maybe
it's called because I mean, people have said that. I've seen that report out there too that Punk was basically upset that they got re-signed or whatever. But it's called All Elite Wrestling. I mean, sure, the Bucks and Kenny could have accepted an offer, and there's been reports over the years, multiple times, that WWE, had offers before they started AEW, and I think maybe after their first contract or whatever. But still, it's called All Elite Wrestling. Yeah. I don't know if Punk really thought Tony was going to keep him and let the Bucks and Kenny and Hangman go elsewhere. Like,
yeah.
As much as some of those early people who weren't quite as big have kind of been let go or their contracts, and it's called All Elite Wrestling. So,
And this is coming from like you guys, a diehard CM Punk fan. As big a fan as I am of him, what kind of disappointed me the most is the fact that he didn't like that someone else called him out.
Yeah.
I didn't like that because it's like, dude, that's what you've been doing your whole career. I don't like that, and that kind of disappointed me a lot. Like, because it's like, so okay, so what? Hangman called you out, big freaking deal. You're going your response wasn't that great either. Now that doesn't excuse how the Bucks and Kenny handled this initially either. It does not. They're just as bad in my opinion. That was the instance where I said that's when they all let Tony Khan down, because I don't like the fact that they're so thin-skinned that they think they're above being called out, even their own company. CM Punk called out all of WWE. Hell, throughout the years, people who worked for some companies have called them out, either as a work or legitimately. I think we forget the promo Sting cut before he became Crow Sting, where he just like kind of verbally like just dressed down WCW. Hulk Hogan and over the thing with Jeff Jarrett.
Shit, Samoa Joe when Scott Hall no-showed.
Yeah.
Dixie Carter was right there front row. Like, and he said right there live on fucking pay-per-view, you want to fire me? Go ahead. I don't care.
Or everyone's disappointment with Jeff Hardy and and TNA letting him go out there anyway when they absolutely should not have.
Yeah.
So I always feel bad for poor Sting and Eric Bischoff in that situation. They didn't know what to do. I felt so bad for them.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever feel bad for Eric Bischoff, but
I didn't. That's like the one time I do, because I feel like he legitimately. Because I saw something else recently. It felt like he was just told to go out there and fix it some kind of way, and no one thought, can we have someone else wrestle the match? So anyway,
yeah.
But
and I can't believe I'm going to add this. Because he's a horrible human being. But it seems like the one advantage to having been in wrestling all his life is that for the most part, Vince has dealt with those situations better because it's like he's all ultimate power.
Yeah.
And he doesn't care.
He's had the
Whereas-
experience with it, you know.
Yeah.
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 I don't want it to seem like
Well-
I'm giving him credit for anything, but
Well, that's kind of
Just
my thing with a lot of AEW, well, wrestling fans in general, getting all over Tony Khan's case, because it's like he's not Vince, and that's kind of a good thing in its own way. Does it have its drawbacks? Sure,
yeah.
but apparently so does being Vince McMahon. I'm sorry, I think some of the stuff he's allegedly accused of kind of a bigger issue, you know. So
Yes.
it's good with the bad. So yeah, is Tony Khan an obvious, you know, wrestling fan and who has the money to back it up this time? Sure, but I don't think that means he's like the worst booker ever. That's still Vince Russo. Sorry, I'm sorry, he hasn't lost that title yet. Tony Khan has to mess up for the next 5 years running before he overtakes Vince.
Yeah,
Russo.
Jason,
Yeah.
for many different reasons too. So
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
a good. I mean, and that's a legitimately good point, though. Boys fear Vince, and not necessarily fear in the terms of respect either.
yeah.
Now, here's an interesting question, though. WWE has like a guy that's in charge of talent relations. He's the guy that kind of works with, you know, people having grievances,
Yeah,
everything like that. Obviously not Ted. Yes,
yeah.
but look,
Well, I don't know. It's a long con, Ted. Just
that would be a hell.
yeah.
Like they're saving it
That'd
for
be a
the
hell of a
next
long
All Out
con.
back in Chicago, right? But hey, you can't lie and say I had a good reason to think it was.
No, yeah.
I mean, come on. But should AEW put someone in place that is a talent relations kind of guy like JR, who has experience doing it before, you know? I mean, something like that can, if someone's got a grievance, because right now, I don't know if they really have that hierarchy in place right now, you know?
It seems like they have backstage people. I think you may be right in the sense of one specific person, but at the same time, I feel like they may want to be careful because think about all the horror stories we've also heard. Like JR didn't have a lot of bad stories, but like John Laurinaitis, what was that one that was on like all the reality shows? No, he was like K. I don't know. There was a guy in between that was like on Total Divas a bunch, I think, when they were showing backstage stuff.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he got fired recently, but
He got
that
fired with
posi-
the Nick Khan cuts and everything.
I
Yeah,
think so. But that position, again, and it may be more to WWE's management and their way of being kind of shitty human beings a lot, didn't always come across. So I know what you're saying, but also I think you got to be careful of who you pick up in there. So I don't know. I think Regal would have been perfect if he would have stayed.
Yeah,
But
and,
you know.
and honestly, at this point, I think JR is just really over.
He doesn't want to deal with that. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
doesn't want to deal with that no more. So, and he shouldn't have to anymore. I think. Well, I think they have guys back there like,
They have
hold on.
Christopher Daniels.
Christopher
they have,
Daniels. They once upon a time they did have BJ Whitmer. That didn't work out too well.
Shit,
So-
Samoa Joe. I mean, yeah. You
I
can't
feel like
take
that's something
somebody
Joe
back
can
there.
do now. Like, you know,
Yeah.
but I think they probably want him focused on the ROH side of things.
Yeah. Plus, I've also read that like Brian Danielson has stepped up with helping with Collision now.
Yeah.
So
Even though we don't have beef with it.
well,
But
probably
that's true too. And also, I don't know if you guys saw this. Apparently, a lot of like the marketing for Collision, where it's CM Punk, it's now been replaced by Jay White. And I look, I was like, I kind of think that might be better. I'm sorry.
Okay, Bullet
Well-
Club Gold is amazing. I'm not gonna.
Bullet
Yeah.
Club Gold is the thing I didn't know I wanted until I got it.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess to say the fallout with this whole news, does Punk show back up in WWE in time for Survivor Series in Chicago?
If he does, all bets are off because I don't know what's going to happen anymore.
If
some
he
have
is,
rumored the thought. You think about it. He could sign a 6-month contract to Survivor
No.
Series to WrestleMania.
no, Tommy. All bets are off. I disagree. If he goes, all bets are on. How long does he last before he gets himself kicked out of there again? We're gonna go 3 months, 6 months.
Does he
9
get
months?
the Rock treatment and beat Roman Reigns for the title? Think about it.
Sweet Heavenly Father, that better not happen at this point.
Look, I'm just saying. Remember how Punk held it for the 434 days, and The Rock just came in, having not been on TV in forever, and just beat him for the title, right?
That
What if
almost
he's the
makes
guy that
too
comes
much
in to be
sense.
Roman?
If
That
you
almost makes
want
too
to
much
ruin one of the best storylines WWE has done in forever, and it hasn't been perfect, but it's been really damn good for a while, do that. Look,
I would
again,
never
I love
expect
Punk
him
in the
to.
ring. I love him on a mic. He seems to be a common denominator in a lot of issues that happen. That's that. No,
Yeah.
we can't do that.
There's a
Yeah.
lot he looks at inside himself. You know, I mean, shit. There's Vince Russo put a statement out. There, part of it I agree with. The rest he just started rambling, and I just didn't want to read the rest of it. But about the whole situation. So, oh god, oh Jason, you're fucked up.
Just don't go,
Damn,
don't go
Jason,
diving into the crowd
how
again.
do you really feel, bro? Like, seriously, don't hold back.
Well,
Yeah,
don't go crowd diving. So
yeah. So I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah, Punk really needs if he wants to make. He's gotta like show some apologetic side of him for what he did. You know, it's
but has he ever for anything
no,
he's
he
done?
hasn't. But
Yeah.
at this point in your life, dude, humble yourself a bit. You need to. Let's be honest, dude. You screwed up. Own it. You know.
Yeah,
I
we're saying that we all feel the same way, but that's not what he's thinking.
I'm sure it's not
Yeah.
what he's thinking, but he needs to see that, and that's the part. That's the one thing holding him back. Like, yeah, I get it. He was a star before he got to WWE. He was a star before he got to AEW. He's self-made. I understand that. But there are other people in wrestling that have adapted to the way the modern world is. You gotta own when you screw up. That's a constant thing, dude. You got it's a respect thing. You screwed up. No matter what issues you had with Jack Perry and what he did on TV, you shouldn't have gotten in his face. You shouldn't have put your hands on him. You shouldn't have tried to choke him out. That's just dumb. And
Yeah.
it's your own fucking fault that you're unemployed right now. So grow up,
Yeah.
dude. Grow up, man. I mean, honestly, be lucky they let you stay and come back for the second time run of it. I think that surprised a lot of people. Like they gave you the chance to be better with it, to do something great with it. The Real World Champion storyline was going to be something epic. I was really interested to see where they went with it, and he screwed it up.
I like
So-
someone mentioned that I don't. It may not even have been like this, but they're like, "Did you notice how MJF never even acknowledged it? Like
Yeah.
he knew it was
Yeah.
going to get screwed up before it got to where it
That's,
needed to
that,
be."
that's actually pretty funny. Yeah.
And I was like, maybe.
I mean, it's smart on MJF's part. Like, whatever. Like,
yeah.
until I have to worry about it.
He was in the middle of like the best storyline ever himself. So
Oh yeah.
True.
So
I didn't. I still like him as a face. This is weird. Oh,
It's
I just saw Jason's comment.
it's crazy what
Yeah.
he's
He
doing
said
with that.
Punk
So.
apologetic. Oh, well.
yeah, I know. But hey,
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah, I
Let's
mean,
see yeah.
again, you're not wrong, but why do people think he's going to suddenly be a different person? Like, that's kind of on us or on people who think that you think
Yeah,
somehow
I
he's
think-
going to be different. I mean,
I think it's some people thinking that he should see that this is a second chance and he should take advantage of it. But yeah, you got a point.
yeah, we thought so. All right, Mike, do you want to talk a bit about CadaverCon again?
of course, as always, I think Tommy, you're going to try to be there for the
I'll be
weekend.
there.
Or?
I will be there not Friday, but I will well, maybe Friday, but I will definitely be there Saturday and Sunday.
Right. So again, I know we've been promoting this for the last couple of weeks, but
Yeah.
we are in September now, guys. This is 22 days away till that first Friday. CadaverCon down in Portland, Texas, of course. Countdown City Geeks are going to be all kinds of involved. We're going to be doing panels. Well, I won't be there. Tommy should be there. Our big guy Ted, Legacy of Nerd Daniel, who's doing a bunch of stuff. There's a poster. I know we don't have the graphic, but if you follow Legacy of Nerd or CadaverCon, he's got like his own poster as like a celebrity guest. Again, he's one of the top Power Ranger content people in the world of Power Rangers and social media. So he's going to be a big guest star there. You see all the okay. They're always Power Rangers to me, like it all means the same thing, but I know there's all kinds of different distinctions, Tommy.
This cast is from Power Rangers in Space, which was the 5th series, I believe. It was official. It was actually, like I've said this before. It was gonna be the last series until it did extremely well, which led to Fox renewing the contract for several more years.
Right. So a bunch of them are going to be there. You see all the different characters whose voice actors are going to be there. Some actors and people from Star Wars and Disney Plus Star Wars stuff. So fun time. They're going to have a costume contest. They're going to have a rave apparently one night. They're going to have all kinds of stuff. I don't know if it still works, but apparently on Labor Day, if you bought a tickets with or the weekend pass with the code Labor Day, you got like 40% off. If you're buying tickets, try it. What's the worst that could happen? It doesn't work. Maybe it's still active. I really don't know, but it was at least on Labor Day. There was a code for 40% off. So
screw it. When you're buying tickets, put a random code in. See what kind of discount you get.
Right? Just put a code in. See what happens.
Google codes. I think there's one that like always works at Domino's Pizza or something I've seen one time. But So CadaverCon again. Prices are a little bit nicer than the one here back in July in San Antonio because it's in a smaller venue, but still a lot of talent there if you're into the different animes and the Power Rangers in space and such. So give it a try. And again, there's a costume contest where the winner gets like a full Django, what's his name, Mandalorian costume, basically, if I remember. So yeah. Check it out, guys. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Mando. So cadavercon.com or follow Countdown City Geeks on all the socials, Legacy and Nerd. Got all kinds of stuff about that. So yeah, hopefully they'll see you out there.
Yes.
All right.
Say hi if you see me.
Now this weekend on the local wrestling front is BOW. Tommy, obviously you're going to be out there. What can you tell us about what's going to happen this weekend?
Okay, so I had a list and I was looking at something else. Here we go. So we have 9 matches on tap so far. Of course, cards subject to change, but I will give you what we have listed so far. So we have Smoke the Reaper versus Vic Endurance. We have James Claxton making his return finally against Omega. Caleb Jean Cartier versus Alexander Crowley. El Rayo defending against Phil Noir, the BLW Cruiserweight Championship. The RWA Outlaws challenging Fly Death for the BLW Tag Team Championships. And in his effort to continue, I guess, to either join Bullet Club or just make himself more known, Boss Baines is taking on DeMarcus Rashad. For those of you who don't know, DeMarcus did perform some referee duties at the last show, and Boss Baines is blaming him for his loss, and then due to the fact that he sucks. Jael is returning and gets debuting Denise Day, who me and Mike know is just making her name all over Texas right now.
Yep.
And coming to BOW is TJ Perkins will be there taking on Soda Pop Hendricks. So that's going to be great. Honestly, I'm really excited for that. And Savage King will be defending the BLW Heavyweight Championship against none other than Damage of NWA fame, who's actually currently, if you guys hadn't heard, he is now one half of the NWA World Tag Team Champions.
Oh nice. Yeah, I think just about every title changed at NWA 75.
Yeah, it felt like a factory reset in a way.
Yeah, it kind of did.
Because even Camille Brickhouse lost her belt.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's up and tap this weekend. RCW on September 16th. I don't have it on the graphic, but Hybrid Experience has their next show Friday, September 22nd. And then, of course, Mission Pro's next event is October 21st.
Yep. And as we said last time, Angel Blue is debuting for Mission Pro.
Yes.
So the long lost love-hate relationship between Tommy and Angel Blue should resume.
Mostly.
Yeah, mostly.
It's
for those of you who watch us, and we were joking about this behind the, but you think what Tommy and Jasmine go through is bad? You need to understand what Tommy and Angel Blue used to be.
I'll put it this way:
they make Jasmine and Tommy look like best friends forever compared to.
I'll put it this way: I have legitimately gone hoarse yelling at Angel Blue, and I have been told. Same. I've been told I don't know who has the picture. I gotta find it. I gotta see who has it. On the stairwell of the Mohawk.
Yeah.
I was standing up there. She was in the ring, and there was a picture of us just pointing and yelling at each other. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long that went on because it's all blurred into one massive yell fest at this point in my head. It's like usually when we saw each other, it's like target acquired. That is my enemy. It was like whenever we saw each other, it was the definition of the phrase on sight. Didn't require no explanation. There was no reason for like I remember one Inspire show when she won the tag belts with Steve Areno, and I said, Steve, how could you? And Jason, facts.
Also, Jason, I love how you're like the first Thriller poster and you misspelled Jasmine's name. That's funny.
Oh,
No, really, the first MPW Thriller poster had Jasmin, and
yeah,
it's JZ.
yeah.
So they corrected it.
Spell check, peeps.
But not wrong.
Yeah.
So that is true.
All right, let's get into what took place this past weekend, and we're gonna start with WWE Payback.
Yes.
Pretty good show, honestly.
Actually, yeah, it really was.
And I'm intrigued by this. First of all, Becky versus Trish. I know it opened the event, but motherfucker, this should have been on SummerSlam. I'm gonna keep on saying that. Wow.
Yeah. That should have. Man, that was so good.
I was just extremely disappointed. And I don't think anything was on that level the rest of the night. Honestly, it was intense.
No,
it
man,
wasn't.
it really wasn't. I hate to say that, but that one was match of the year contender. I think so.
Maybe, yeah.
I think so.
With all the bruises Trish was displaying afterward too, it's like, ah, dang. So
I think honestly, that's kind of my thing. We when it's to the point that the people are when one wrestler looks like they legitimately were in like an actual fight. Yeah, it's kind of match of the year contender to me.
No kidding. And then their little tributes, Trish doing a widow's peak, and what did Becky do? She did something with Lita, right? Because they said it was an homage to Lita and Victoria having the first cage match.
Did she do the moonsault?
Was it the moonsault? She did something. Oh, Twist of Fate.
Twist of Fate. There we go.
Twist of Fate. That's right.
Yeah.
Because it was an homage to them. It was like the first women's cage match of that time. So yeah. There you go, Jason.
Yeah,
Twist of Fate.
And interestingly enough, the fallout of this, Becky Lynch is going to be on NXT next week.
Yep.
For a shot at that title. So, chances that she wins it.
I kind of want to say yes, just because.
It would be fun, right? And for what it's worth, Tiffany Stratton is legit. She's tall, blonde, but is actually athletic and can wrestle. You know, you can tell WWE has a huge future plan for her. So even if she doesn't, this is huge for Tiffany to get this match and to be able to mix it up with Becky. But it'd be fun, right?
Yeah.
Like, why not?
Any other matches? I guess we'll go around. What other match on the event stuck out to you from Payback? Mike, we can start with
tag team.
Tag team.
Yeah.
That fight. Okay. Did anybody else think that KO was legitimately hurt when he did the swanton and landed 3/4 of his body onto the floor and not the table?
Yeah.
Like, I legit thought he wasn't going to get up.
I'm sure he was hurting. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he was. But like when Jeff does it, long ago at the Garden or whatever, he lands on Bubba or Devon. I forget which one he does. Probably Bubba. He lands full body onto Bubba.
Yeah,
Owens
Bubba.
rolled off of was it Dom?
Or
was it Priest? Probably Dom. He rolled off. So again, the most of his body and his butt hit the concrete. And I was like, oh. But then I get the spots the near falls toward the end where they kept teasing the one way or the other. JD McDope Google Me gets involved. All of it that goes down, but and then they show up out of the crowd. I thought they were going to jump at them. They show up out of the penalty box in Pittsburgh Penguins jerseys and the whole gear to do a hockey fight stuff.
That was good.
Yeah, that was a great match.
Yeah.
Tell me what else stood out from you from the event.
LA Knight beat The Miz.
Yeah.
With John Cena as the referee.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Shinsuke should have won, but I like that they're still good. That this is still going on. So I'm happy about that.
Quick question though, with related to Cena, if the strike were to magically end this weekend, Is he still on SmackDown for the rest of those shows?
Yeah,
Does he-
no,
does he
no,
have-
no,
If he's
no.
already booked and they're paid and his contract signed, it's almost like he's working it.
Well, that's the thing with whenever the strike ends, the scheduling in Hollywood is going to be a freaking mess for
Yeah,
like
yeah,
at
it
least the
is.
next year. So that's the main problem is all the schedules are crap now.
Mhm.
So it won't even matter.
I'm still laughing at like John Cena will be on every SmackDown from September 3rd through October. Like there's very specific like run.
It's
time of
basically
days.
Hispanic Heritage Month. They basically said like September 15th to October 15th. They basically
You
Think about
mean
it.
that month that celebrates Hispanic people that crosses from one month over to the other?
exactly. Even when our own
Mhm.
Heritage Month, we got to
Interesting.
cross the border. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Look, Tommy, when's African American History Month?
February.
Okay.
Shortest month of the year. When's
Yeah.
Hispanic History Month? Cross like not even a month.
it's 30
September
days,
16th
but yeah.
through like October 16th. Literally cross. I'm just saying. Sometimes they make it obvious. Just gonna throw that out there.
And rumor has it Greg Abbott is still trying to put a floating barrier
Oh,
between
Jesus.
September 30th and
Let's
October
not.
1st. Sorry, had to do it.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, he's booked for these dates. He's paid for it.
I
'Cause
know.
even if the
but I-
strike ended tomorrow, it's
Oh,
going to take
Jesus.
time for them to get
yeah,
crew
yeah, I
out
know.
there,
I just
wherever,
think
you
it's
know.
funny. It still makes me laugh. Like
Was he
not
even
like
in the middle
he's-
of the movie? I don't even know.
I don't know. He might have
I
been.
can't remember. Did Jason?
Yeah.
Come on, it's funny.
Jesus.
Yeah. Let's see.
Title match was pretty good too. Okay, so do you remember when we were making our predictions? First of
Yeah.
all, I do this a lot where I get this idea in the middle of a show, but I don't actually take the time to think it through. My idea was that everyone was going to win gold except Finn,
Mhm.
and then they were going to kick him out. But then I didn't realize he was in the tag match, so if Priest won, he would have had to. Or did I pick KO? Maybe that's the one I didn't pick.
Let me see.
Who did? Yeah, because you were only wrong about one.
Did I?
You picked up this wrong
I feel
one.
like I picked Judgment Day, but I don't know. Anyways,
I gotta go back and find it. Here we go.
that's
Hang on.
fine. What did I pick on that?
You picked. We all picked KO and Sami Zayn.
Okay, so
Okay.
that was my
Yeah.
thought then.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I am right. In that final match, they are playing up that that
Priest could cash in, right?
well no,
Yeah.
they should have. My
Yeah.
point was oh my god, everyone's name just went out of my head. Nakamura had Seth, or Seth
Yeah.
won, but he was like in pain after the match. They were playing up the back. And I was sitting there going, he's coming out, right?
It would have
It
been a
was
great
perfect.
moment.
It was
Yeah.
perfect. It was set up. He was in pain. I think he needed help to get out of the ring almost. Like, that was the only thing I was like, oh, they could have set it up perfect. But, yeah. No.
No, they wanted to make a Senor Money in the Bank and try and sell some more merch and kind of milk this thing a little
Okay.
bit. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like with WWE's production value, that kind of looked like a fan made it. Like, I don't want to be...
It did.
Right?
Actually. Yeah.
like, it was
did.
just kind of purple. Like, it wasn't horrible, but I feel like WWE could have made a better version. Unless they decided at, like, 30 minutes before the show to change it up, but I mean,
which is not unheard of.
right.
Yeah, for sure. So,
What else was on the show?
well, it was a fairly short show as far as number of matches.
Yeah, it really was.
Mysterio
Yeah.
defeated Austin Theory.
Right.
Rhea Ripley defeated Raquel. And then every other match we've talked about. So, yeah. So,
Yeah. So yeah,
though disappointed Raquel Rodriguez lost, but hey, it is what it is. So,
I think they need to do a better job of building her consistently. Like, we know she's big, we know she's strong, but she kind of needs to go on a sustained run,
Mhm.
so you feel like it's earned against Ripley. I just feel like, I mean, she's been on and off again with tag team stuff. Her partner gets injured, whatever. But I feel like she needs to go on a run for a while before she takes off Ripley. Because honestly, Ripley hasn't been defending the title a lot. You know, she's so ingrained in the Judgment Day stuff that it's almost like they forget sometimes, oh yeah, she's the champion. We should probably give her matches. So
I believe it.
I mean, I don't blame them, but
all right. As far as our pick results on this one, I went 3-3, Tommy 4-2, and Mike 5-1.
Mhm.
So, WrestleCast rating. I didn't get to see the whole event, unfortunately. Did you guys get to watch the whole thing?
Yeah,
I didn't watch. I think I watched the whole thing. So.
Okay, I
Okay.
watched the second half, and then I went back and had to watch the beginning because I was out that day. But
Okay.
um,
You're welcome
am I,
to share a rating.
am I the
exactly.
grade for everybody?
I
Yes.
guess so. Yeah. So.
I'm going to give it a 4.25.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
It was a solid show. Again, that first match was great. The tag match was great. The others were so. And I can't believe I'm saying. Well, no, I can believe because it's not fully under Vince again. They've had better shows overall.
Yeah.
So I've given better grades to better shows, but it was solid. It's nothing to complain about, but
Yeah.
it would have been nice if there was a show where all the things that were planned were on there. Like you were talking about, that match should have been on SummerSlam, the cage match. So it was a good match on here, but it felt like it had been drawn out to get to there to begin with. So,
All right. So yeah, Mike said it. 4.25 for Payback. So
There you go.
not a bad show. So.
Yeah.
All right, that moves us into All Out a week after All In. AEW is just basically trying to claim the week before and during Labor Day weekend, and it's looking like it's going to happen again next year because they've already announced that they're going to go back to Wembley, same weekend in August next summer, and more
But-
likely All Out. So
Are you going back to Chicago?
that seems to be the tradition. So
Right.
I really want them to now more than ever. Now it's like, okay, what's going to happen next year? Please keep going back. And actually, I actually kind of like this because they don't do the pay-per-views too much. I mean, it looks like they're starting to do more according to what I've been hearing. That's what they want. That's what WB wants. But having them have back-to-back weeks, at least the people know in a year in advance. Hey, well, I'm buying 2 pay-per-views over that week. So so.
Well, I have a question on that though. Like, I mean, obviously, All In. What do you guys think about AEW strategy? Like, we keep a certain pay-per-view in the same city every year. All Out has been in Chicago every year. Say, I think the COVID year potentially was the one year. Double or Nothing, Vegas.
Mhm.
Now All In appears London's going to be the destination. I don't recall if there's any others, but it seems to be that's. What do you guys think about that?
I feel like because, again, 4 years old, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think they've reached a full 5 years. I kind of get it because you know where your strong spots are.
Yep.
Right? And Double or Nothing is kind of casino related, so Vegas makes sense.
Vegas makes sense. Yeah.
Chicago, even before they signed Punk, was a wrestling hotbed for them, so it kind of makes sense. I feel like eventually down the road, like Tommy was saying, they want to increase their pay-per-view per year. We may get to a point where they expand and maybe 1 year does it. Like, don't forget, for that long mid-2000s, 2010s, SummerSlam was basically in California at some beach, some coast, because it was like the biggest party of the summer. And
Well,
it wasn't.
and I think they had a contract with Staples Center to bring it there every year for a good amount of time too.
It
So,
seemed like it, right?
yeah.
And
So
don't
finally they
forget,
got
number
it
of
to the-
times WWE it seems like they had to go to MSG. It's like they had to hit a certain number of times they were in that building.
Survivor
too, so.
Series was in there a bunch.
Yeah.
WrestleMania for a couple times too,
Yeah.
early
but
on.
now they don't even go back there anymore. They have an issue when someone does go back there, So
Yeah.
But yeah, like I get what you're saying, but I feel like it's just because they're sticking to what is best for them early on, and hopefully over the next few years that expands.
Okay. All right. Well, All Out, pretty big show, and obviously overshadowed a bit with the CM Punk news that we had already talked about to start the show.
Yeah.
On some level,
But they
But-
stepped up.
They did,
Yeah.
and it's interesting that they did Collision obviously the night before in Chicago, and then of course they have the pay per view the next day in Chicago. Now we obviously we were talking about this. There's rumor that Ricky Starks was going to be calling out Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, but all he apparently put on the Dragon was just
I love
the
that.
Dragon on the contract. So
Yeah.
Brian Danielson is the one that answers the call, and oh my god, just that episode of was it Collision that came out, right? I mean, that was
Collision. Yeah, it was Collision.
pretty
Yeah.
a great segment too. And,
I feel like I said before, we're really gonna start stories about Bryan Danielson, like the 3 barbershop guys that coming to America. Bryan Danielson was supposed to come back to November, came back in August, and just
He came back 3 days later. That's what it was.
he broke his forearm on a Saturday. He was back on Dynamite that following Wednesday. I remember I was watching for a long 2 hours.
He just went to the back, he rubbed some tussin on it, and he got back out there.
Oh man, I can't wait to be like 80. I'm gonna just sit in barbershops all day.
Can we do that at an earlier age? So like we're like a little bored.
Yeah, I want to be 80 and annoying. That way they can't like throw me out. So
Fair enough.
Well, just some quick results from the pre-show. This, of course, the buy-in, as they call it. There was an over-budget charity battle royal, which is a great name for a battle royal. I love that. Hangman Adam Page wins 6-woman tag match. Hikaru Shida, Willow Nightingale, and Sky Blue defeating Athena, Mercedes Martinez, and Diamante.
Again, on that one, Billy Stark's coming out with Athena, like they're all being heels, and Billy's just trying to be like the most bubbly, like
it's like
baby face.
Again, but Mike, to kind of like before with RCW, it's like the Cholas all together, but then like that one paper girls, but they're just like, these are my friends.
It would be no wait, Maddie did join with them, but she's not really preppy.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
Great to see Mercedes Martinez out there, though. It's pretty
absolutely.
So, yeah. And then, of course, the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn successfully defending the World Trios Championship against Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, and Jay Lethal. So
with Dennis Rodman.
Yes. Okay. Hell of a callback getting Rodman in there for a Chicago event.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
Yeah, she really is, Jason.
Yeah. I missed it.
Yeah.
And honestly, Athena's having an amazing reign as the ROH Women's Champion. Like another one we need to talk about more.
She is definitely, and I think everyone here in Texas is so very proud of her for that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What she's doing. All right. Any matches stand out to you guys? I know there's another 10 more to talk through, but right? Yeah. What stands out for you guys on the main show?
Well, I know Blackpool Combat Club went undefeated.
Yeah,
so
they absolutely did.
That was pretty cool on that part. So the strap match, like you were talking about, beat the crap out of each other, bloodied each other. Starks doesn't really submit or give up. You know, kind of.
It was a technical submission, right? Just out. Yeah. So.
And if that doesn't tell you that they're building him up to be something huge very soon, I don't know what will, because you don't have anyone go like on damn near unconsciousness against Bryan Danielson unless you're really building them up to be something big.
Even O'Connor tapped.
Yeah. So I feel like they really.
Oh, that's right. That's the first.
Dude, actually, yeah, I didn't even realize that. Well, except for Adam Page, but
Adam Page went in there over budget.
But that was the pre-show. So
but Omega took another loss to Takeshita, which I know they're building up Takeshita, dude, in the same way. But to be pinned or pinning Omega to pay-per-views back to back weekends,
and pretty much clean, more or less. I mean, despite some earlier shenanigans, of course.
Right.
But, at the end, he pinned him clean. I was like, holy crap, that's
and then
that's big.
Bullet Club Gold beating FTR in the Bucks because
Bullet Club Gold is gold.
They are the second best thing right now on AEW. You know what the best thing is?
What's
and
up?
Tommy, I almost have to apologize. Okay, wrestling wise, yes, but character wise, Toni Storm.
No,
and I have to apologize to you because you were right, and not that I didn't like it, but it's a good thing that the events happened that took Toni to this place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because she was funny there, but even better on Dynamite.
Yes.
With Renee Paquette.
Watch the shoe.
Like that's the thing. Like chin up, tits out, and watch out for the shoe. And she's like, the what? Oh.
Watch out for the shoe. Is a shirt I might need, dude.
Yeah.
That's a reality show that I need because Juice is another guy who's having.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got to add him to that list.
He is having so much fun right now. I think Jay White is just laughing at everything he does, and it's just I think every time Jay White's laughing, it's legitimately because he's just laughing at whatever Juice is doing. It's not even kayfabe anymore. He's just like, guys, look at Juice. He's hilarious, and that's what's great.
And also, that adds juice to the The Miz, the Cardona, the list of all the guys who win, Miro. No matter if they win or lose, they win.
Yeah, of course, yeah, like 100%. Yeah, that's also why Juice is happy right now. He's like, yeah, I'm in this company getting paid, and Tony Storm's my wife.
Yeah.
I don't need a freaking title, so.
I haven't seen the whole show, but the one match that I
No.
wanted to really see was Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. So I went to watch
Okay,
that.
I
And
would say, did you watch it? Yeah.
yes, and my God, look, I know I was a champion for Orange Cassidy 1,000 days. I'm very, very disappointed we're not getting that complete missed opportunity by Tony Khan. Look, I get it. You had to fire CM Punk, but you could have kept everything. You could have just come on. That's something a really big missed opportunity. That being said, for
That
anyone
being
to
said.
ever doubt how fucking tough Orange Cassidy is, you better shut the hell up after that match.
Yeah, I actually
Because-
I don't do this often, but there was actually an IG page I follow who weren't fans of his title reign, and I was like, I'm sorry, man, you're wrong on this one. He killed
Yeah.
it with this title reign, and that match proved it more than anything. So, and I think if anything else, they were really playing up his level of defenses all the time as to this loss, and it's like as they should have. It really, legitimized him as a talent. It's just like,
For
hey,
sure.
but
His
it's
reign
also the
went back to
conditions.
the beginning of the year. I didn't even realize how long.
Yeah,
it
no,
had lasted.
it been that
Yeah.
long. It had been since like the only other guy who's held that belt, and even his previous title name was Pac,
Yeah.
because he was the first champion, and after that, it's been all Cassidy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Against challenger after challenger after challenger. The dude was the legit workhorse. Of
There
AEW.
was that summer where every Dynamite opened up with a title defense, and it was going back to like the Nitro opening up with the cruiserweights, just stealing the
pretty
show
much.
right off the bat and setting a tone of like, all right, let's go.
Yeah,
And this started with him as the All Atlantic Championship, and then it
All
combined
Atlantic
into that.
Into
Yeah.
the international,
Yeah, so-
yeah.
I feel though after this, the ovation he got, the man needs a main title run.
Yeah.
Main event
Well,
spot,
at
for
this
sure.
point, they have established at least 3 guys to be number 1 contender against MJF. They've made Ricky Stark somewhere down the line, Takeshita, and now Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
Now, of course, for argument's sake, let's say Takeshita should be first because he's the only one of the 3 I mentioned who won. But that being said, work-wise, talent-wise, you can't tell me that Ricky and Orange probably won't be champion by about maybe All In, All Out next year, or at the very least in the title picture. Because they my thing is, if you can prove that you can work with Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley, you don't have to win, but you can work with them, like to the point where you look like you're even close to their level, that's the feather in your cap,
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested to see how they're going to book Orange Cassidy going forward now too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it. I would blame if he took a week off because man's been pushed to his
Well,
limit
did
for
you
everything.
see his promo
Yeah.
on Dynamite?
No, I haven't checked that
Well,
out yet.
he said they told me to take a week off, and I said nah.
No.
He said I'm going to be here every week. He said because my name's Orange Cassidy, and I do not have a catchphrase.
I
Which,
love
by
that.
the way, is the best catchphrase ever. It's my name's Orange Cassidy, and I do not have
Not
a
every catchphrase. That's amazing.
No flips, just fists. No gimmicks
Yeah.
needed.
Yeah, and there's a shirt now already that says I do not have a catchphrase, and
Yeah,
I'm
I
just waiting
believe
till I
it.
get. And I'm waiting to get paid again so I can just buy it. I don't care. I don't care anymore. He's the best, laziest gimmick wrestler of all time. So
Yeah, but they really they he's done it so well. And again, if you can't understand how talented he is to wrestle the way he does while looking like he's lazy so much, hands in the pocket, all the time, like you just don't
Shit
respect.
is not easy. It's
No.
not easy. No, none whatsoever. So
And also, again, I said it earlier because they won other matches, but shout out to Blackpool Combat Club. Moxley, every time something happens, I saw 2 things actually. Every time Punk leaves a company, Bryan Danielson wins a title, but also, so
Moxley
apparently
wins the
he
title. Moxley wins the
no,
title.
no, it's Danielson. He left
Oh.
ROH.
that's right.
Yes.
Daniel
true.
Bryan Danielson won the title. He left WWE. Daniel Bryan gets WrestleMania 30. So they're like,
Yeah.
you got 9 months, Tony Khan. Make it happen.
Well, Full Gear's next on the horizon. I mean,
Well, yeah.
I don't know how much longer this Samoa Joe MJF thing. And great setup, by the way.
Yeah.
Joe just coming out and pushing him, and just kind of a nice callback to that video we've all seen.
Their promo on Dynamite was top notch. So like that, it's one of the times, and like AEW doesn't do it a lot. Like when they have their guys talk a lot for like a long time in the ring, but it's always worth it. And most of the time it's been MJF. But like this one was really good because you can sometimes forget that Joe's a really good promo guy until you get him out there with someone who he can go with. Because I think he loves, like, I keep thinking about the times he was burning Jeff Hardy all the time, which was just so uncalled for.
Yeah.
But
SmackDown where he roasted everyone.
Dude, that was like one of the worst. Anyway, but no, it's like I like that, and to me, this is why I also say I do like a face MJF, because he's really not that different.
Yeah,
he just changes what he says, because like he says, I'm ready to be your scumbag. He's like, don't get it wrong.
Does it so subtly. He's like, obviously, I'm the best in the world, but
yeah. And like that's what because like even though the media scrum is like everyone did great, I did the best out of all of them, but obviously everyone did great. I love that.
Telling the story about his WWE thing, get a tryout. Obviously with WWE, killed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that is an interesting factoid that every time this has happened with Punk, Bryan Danielson's winning a championship. Do you think Bryan Danielson wins a title at Full Gear? Potentially beating MJF?
It's not impossible.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of connecting back to what we were talking about, that or with Cassidy, can we also go ahead and just say that title has surpassed the TNT title as the secondary title?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Because don't get me wrong, I love what Christian's doing now.
Yeah.
But that title got so hot potatoed for so long and never really got any momentum after Cody.
After Miro, I'd say.
When you think about
then,
the TNT and the TBS championships are basically the TV titles for the men and women. That's really all it is,
Yeah.
And then your international is your equivalent to an intercontinental title. It's for historically the hardest working guy in the locker room.
You're not wrong, but the TNT came first, so you thought it was going to be the IC title, but you're right.
Yeah, but it's turned into that now, At least on the women's side, it kind of has the equivalent of the intercontinental title. Obviously, with Jake Cargill holding it for so long, and now Statlander holds it. So
that's true.
Who, by the way, that whole Zoolander-inspired gear, especially with her doing blue steel the entire.
And he responded on social media.
Yes, Ben Stiller
responded.
Yes.
I didn't know that. That's
someone tagged him and he tweeted back, "Ridiculously good looking." That was his whole tweet. Yes, so
that's perfect.
Yeah.
I know people didn't seem to be fans of it, but I liked it for what it was. Joe versus Shane Taylor. That was fun, and of course Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs.
Okay, the crowd for that one.
I was waiting for Mike to talk about this one.
That's kind of why I brought it up. I wanted Mike to talk about it.
Someone's got to say it.
Meet forever. Slap. Like the chance of slappy meat and then meat forever. Look, in all fairness, Tommy, could have also been applied to Joe versus Shane Taylor.
Yeah.
Both of them could have. But I think obviously just Hobbs.
Okay, are they officially a tag team at this point? Is that confirmed?
Who?
Because they need to be. Hobbs and Miro.
No,
because he attacked him afterwards.
He attacked him afterwards. Damn. With all those chants, you kind of have to make it a tag team.
Well, let's see what happens with CJ now being there.
Well, let's see what AEW does, because we know how successful Miro was when he got chanted by all the crowd in his previous company, and how well they took that and ran with it and didn't totally waste it and throw it down the drain. Not at all. Rusev
okay. Let's throw this out there. Let's say, okay, everything lines up. Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs are a tag team with obviously CJ Perry there as their manager. Give us a good tag team name. And obviously we have our first one right here. If anyone else is watching afterward, Very Meaty's.
Very Meaty.
Yes.
Meat Slappers?
Mountain of Meat or Meat Mountain? The Mount Rushmore of
Holy
meat.
Holy meat.
Holy meat!
Miro's always
yes.
talking about like God and being your redeemer. Redeem
Yeah.
this meat. Not quite what Kingston said, but you know. Look,
Redeem this meat.
Also,
Protein power.
Oh God.
I did.
Meat.
There you go. I was gonna say I wasn't quite sure what they were doing where he walks away from his wife because do you remember the stuff with House of Black when like Julia was like trying to like they thought she was trying to like seduce him over to House of Black and he was like only my flexible wife can touch me and he was always like referring to and then she shows up and he's like I must leave and I was like okay let's see where this goes.
Take care of business, right?
Yeah.
So, Joe and Shane Taylor. I know it was a short match, but it seemed. First of all, it was good to see Shane Taylor on AEW television, on AEW pay-per-view from that standpoint. And I hope this is the start of something. Obviously, more in Ring of Honor, I think too, as well. So, but obviously, this unfortunately was overshadowed a bit too with the whole Joe MJF thing. That's what they're trying to build back up to as well. So, So, I mean, you guys got to see it all. I don't know, but
I haven't got through all of it, but everything I saw too of that night, like everyone was impressed with all the stuff that had happened that we had talked about with Punk.
Yeah,
like everyone just stepped up. There was a bunch of great matches. So like I kind of want to finish all of it. I think it'll be a pretty good grade, but for now, not quite.
Tommy, you said you got to see it or no?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
Do you have a rating then for AEW? Oh, well, pick results. Tommy and I went 4-4, and Mike went 5-3. Damn, it's so hard to pick this one.
It was hard to pick this one.
Tommy, you got a rating for AEW All Out?
Yeah, what did I give All In?
All In, let me see.
Like a 4.5, I think, right?
You gave it a 4.85.
Oh shit!
That's what I'm gonna give All Out. I think it was just as good a show. I feel like this show, for some reason, like it gelled wrestling wise better. If that makes sense. I think All In the crowd.
More of a spectacle.
And I'd say the crowd made it. And I'd say the match, the show that All In was bad. It wasn't, not at all. It was a great show. I just think the crowd made it that one more special. Yeah. But I think this one, the crowd was great, and they really were a lot of fun. But I think the wrestling in this one was more cohesive.
It seemed like it was across the board. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I really do like the Tony Storm with the spray paint. I don't know why that was hilarious to me. I've watched that clip at least.
She just starts spraying it in the air.
Because she just starts spraying it in the air. It's like my legitimate reaction to all this is I don't know what she's doing, but I'm in. I'm 100% in. And of course the show also had Eddie Kingston teaming with Shibata, so automatically it got 1 point more than it usually would have for me. So no, I'm kidding. But it was just a great show overall. And if you get to watch the full Takeshita Omega match, it's insane what they were managing to pull off in this match. And Takeshita, he's on his way to being that dude. Mm-hmm. If he decides to make AEW be an AEW lifer, I think he's got a major run at it. I mean, I think he'd do great in Japan, but I think he's got a real shot at making it as like an AEW lifer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so 4.85 for All Out. Next on the horizon for AEW, Wrestle Dream, October 1st, which is basically a tribute show for Antonio Inoki. Taking place in Seattle, and then AEW Full Gear taking place in Los Angeles on November 18th. So,
and one more thing about Bullet Club Gold, I feel like it's a bunch of fraternity bros who just happen to become wrestlers, and like they're like, let's just form a team, bro, and that's what happened there.
Yeah, I buy it.
All right, so now let's look ahead to what is happening tomorrow night, and we're going to talk mostly as far as pick wise. We'll talk just about the title matches, but there's some other matches on this card that are very, very worth watching this event. If you don't have Impact Plus, highly recommend signing up for it because this is going to be a good show. Impact Victory Road, of course, taking place tomorrow night. Going to be in New York. Now, let me just run through the card for you guys real quick because there's obviously you have the agenda in front of you, but there are a couple matches that just got added as well. Crazy Steve versus Black Taurus.
That's going to be great.
Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin. In an anything goes match, Bully Ray versus PCO.
That's going to be insane.
Why not? Deonna Purrazzo versus Jordan Grace.
Yes.
You feel like you hear those names that a title should be online, but no, it's just a singles
Right.
match on this card.
Well,
Yeah.
one, this is her return match because she's coming back from all her training and bodybuilding competitions.
For sure.
Hype like I have muscles like her. I do not.
Digital Media Championship is title versus career. Kenny King's championship versus Tommy Dreamer's career. If he loses, he has to retire from in-ring competition. So there's more on the line with that one. Knockouts tag team titles. MK Ultra defending against Sean Taraj. Let's see here. X Division Championship. Leo Rush defending against Kushida. The newly crowned Impact Tag Team Championships, the Rascals, are defending their titles against the Motor City Machine Guns. And the Knockouts Championship, Trinity versus Alicia Edwards. Looking at that card, guys, what match or two matches kind of stands out to you as one of their must-watches on this?
Deonna versus Jordan.
Yeah. Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I also feel like Crazy Steve and Black Taurus is going to be pretty crazy because that's Crazy Steve starting to break away.
Yeah.
I'm pretty interested to see the Rascals and the Motor City Machine Guns. I'm interested
Yeah,
how
it's
these
gonna be
two
really
guys,
good.
how those four guys mesh together in the ring. So,
Yeah.
do you guys want to make picks on this one, or you just kind of let it ride?
I don't know, man. I don't do
Yeah.
well picking Impact.
I mean, there's not even a multi-man. What's the point?
Well, I thought you had your dice ready. I'm sorry, but yeah. So
we know what we need to start doing. We need to start getting like a dart board instead of dice, and just like in all of our and like each of us just like with sticky notes, we just put the names on each one and just like throw the darts randomly, and that's how we pick it. We couldn't possibly do worse.
Yeah, but I'm also afraid how many extra holes I'm going to put in my wall because I'm bad at darts.
Fair enough. I'll get the soft kind. That way you can just like kind of put sticky notes. That way hey, look.
Velcro ones, that's fair.
Yeah, the Velcro.
the little Velcro balls you throw as a target.
Yeah.
I'll go stop by Five Below.
There you go. See? Problem solved.
There you go.
We should hopefully they'll sponsor us now. I'm kidding.
Five Below, saving us on budget-wise stuff.
Only for $5 though.
Yeah, well, $5.50 on some stuff.
Yeah.
Inflation, fuck you. All right. Well, Victory Road is taking place tomorrow, Friday, September 8th, 7 p.m. Central Time from the Westchester County Center in White Plains, New York, and it will be on Impact Plus. Check it out. Go to impactwrestling.com for more details on how to get Impact Plus. It is worth it. They're doing these live events. The library is so extensive, and it is pretty awesome. So, all right. With that, we'll move into our 1 minute warning segment here.
Burnsy, dude, you are so late. Okay.
Yeah, seriously, Burnsy.
Well, Mike, do you have something to talk about this week?
Yes.
All right. Whenever you're ready, set and go.
I just want to continue to reiterate on some things I was saying earlier, but again, after the stuff that happened with Punk on Saturday, the way the roster kind of seemed to step up in their matches for All Out, and again, I think the most unsung hero of AEW over the last several years is Jon Moxley. Because you remember the first time stuff happened, he lost the match to Punk at All Out, at All Out last year. He was supposed to go on some vacation. The media scrum happened, and basically he had to come back and win that little tournament, to win the title, kind of keep it going again. And I don't think he's ever gotten his vacation. He won that. Blackpool Combat Cup blew up. They were doing all that stuff, and he just kept stepping up. He finally lost the belt to MJF or whatever, but he's just kind of stuck in there. And I really think he's kind of been their biggest savior over the years, because every time it feels like they need something, he steps up into that place and takes over. And I love that the rest of them are kind of doing that as well. Bryan Danielson, I guess, came back a little bit early, but he said he was fine. He got cleared, and apparently he said if you watch the match, he doesn't throw a punch with his right arm at all. So He kind of kept that, and he gave a lot of praise to Ricky Starks in that. But yeah, just shout out to all of them, and specifically Moxley stepping up.
Very cool. Tommy, you got something this week?
Just real quick, and Burnsy, no excuses. I'm kidding too.
Hope it was a good game, man.
Yeah, I
So,
hope it was a good game. Hope you had
it
fun.
is football season after all. So.
Yeah.
All right, whenever you're ready, set and go.
Just be sure to come out for BOW this Saturday, guys. It's going to be a great show. We are BOW is doing sponsorships for this show. Our first time ever doing that. So support the wrestlers, man. They are working hard and everything. Come check it out. It's going to be a fun show. One reason I'm bringing it up is because I have a lot of friends coming, and I'm hoping like more people will come out. Because small show or not, I've never seen like the BOW guys and girls not give 100%. They're all like all wrestlers trying to get the name out there, and it's gonna be fun. So come on out, have some fun. I think Chase Owens is gonna be there too, if I'm not mistaken, or I don't know if he's booked or not. But I think, but anyway, TJP will be there. Savage King, all that good stuff. So come on out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah.
Also, Legacy, you missed it because we did our CadaverCon promo already.
Yeah.
Mentioned you're gonna be a special guest because you're so fancy, Mr. Power Rangers.
Go Power Rangers.
I'm not jealous of your collection, not at all. It's not like it's everything I've ever wanted in my entire life, just all in your room. No, not at all.
Tommy. Burnsy William regaled you.
First of all, Burnsy. First of all, that means you have to show up. No, I'm kidding.
How long in our lifetime before like a high school football game rivalry becomes the War Games Bowl or something like that? So that'd be pretty fun.
School related, probably not anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, I want for my 1 minute to shout out another Impact event that is happening this weekend, and Impact 1000. They're taping their 1000th episode of Impact Wrestling this Saturday. Just for reference, we're at 250 episodes of the WrestleCast today. This is our 250th one, by the way. So,
oh wow!
But this is such an awesome event to the point that Team 3D is teaming up against opponents to be determined. They're going to be taping that. Alex Shelley's defending the title against Trey Miguel. Kazarian and Tracy Brooks against Alicia Edwards and Eddie Edwards. And Gail Kim and Awesome Kong are coming out of retirement for one more match. Part of the big multi-woman 8 or 10-person tag team. They're still figuring it out. But it also features Angelina Love, Deonna Purrazzo, Giselle Shaw, Savannah Edwards. I mentioned Kong, Gail Kim, Jordan Grace, and Trinity. So this is a pretty awesome event. For all the years people thought that Impact was dead and buried with everything else that they had dealt with, the way the wrestling world seemed to be moving on without them as talent left to other companies, they stuck around. They're still around. They've gone through their ups and downs. And congratulations to everybody involved with Impact Wrestling on 1,000 episodes. They're going to be taped in White Plains, New York, at the Westchester County Center. Same venue as Victory Road. Just the next day, they'll be doing their TV tapings there, and it'll be obviously broadcast later on Access TV. So, congratulations, Impact, on 1,000.
1,000 episodes.
Good job.
That's crazy to me.
Oh Jesus! Now we're getting into the discussion here. So.
Oh. Well, I'll say this: at least Punk didn't just murder children.
Okay, I was about to say. Although
no one wants
Jack
to see
Perry's
Punk
kind of young. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh God. At least no one would have seen him said, "Master Punk, what are we going to do?" And he like ignited his lightsaber. I was like the most messed up scene. I was like, "Did he just murder those kids?"
Yeah. First time seeing it, you're just in shock. Like, what the hell? So, that's dark. All right. Again, events this weekend. Impact Victory Road tomorrow. Oh, geez. Friday, September 8th, 7 p.m. Central Time on Impact Plus, taking place in New York. Get Impact Plus to watch the event. Should be a good one. And, of course, Impact 1000 is taping this weekend, as we just discussed as well.
Yep.
Next week, we will recap Victory Road and look ahead to any other bit wrestling news that comes out. That's what's on the horizon for us. Is there something else happening in the chat that I'm
Like
not
a
seeing?
They just talking to smack on Jack Perry.
Yo,
Jack Perry. Oh,
he
Jesus.
ain't got no chill whatsoever. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude's still making money, though. Shit. You know, whatever it works, man. So.
Well, no, he's not making money apparently, but
Oh yeah, he's suspended.
Suspended. Just let the lit shit die down. So enjoy your vacation. So.
Oh God.
What? Honestly, what it is, they're just letting it go. I mean, I figure he's gonna be back on TV by the end of the month. I don't think it's gonna last that long.
We'll
so,
see. We'll see.
Again, recap Impact Victory Road next week and talk about a wealth. I'm sure Tommy's going to talk also about BOW, and we'll also look ahead to the RCW event that is happening next week as well.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be a good one, too.
So, thank you, everybody, for joining us. We do appreciate it, as always. Obviously, yes, we're on Thursdays with football season starting up and my podcasting schedule getting a little crazy. We're moving this to Thursday nights for the time being. Unless something crazy happens, we got to do a late night Friday night every now and then. We'll see what happens. But Thursday is going to be our general day now for the WrestleCast, at least for the next few months. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Over here, we got Tommy.
Thanks, guys.
We got Mike.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each other.
And I can't get the damn music going. All right, there we go. And I'm JC. And as always, heels and baby faces, remember, pro wrestling is real.
People are fake.
Reach for the sky, boy.
Boom.
Bang.
See you next week.
Adios, Gunther.